Okay, we're gonna try this again. Um, so this is what happens when you feel super nervous and ironically overwhelmed. You start something and then um you just don't know where anything is, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna try this out, and then it doesn't go the way that you planned it to go. Um, Please be nice to me. And be nice to me in the form of leaving comments, like this post, share this post, ask me questions. Um, I would love some engagement. So I'm not talking to the ethos, that's not even the right word, the the world with no response. But I did find the notes that I was wanting to share with you guys. And so we are going to talk about overwhelm, like I said. So, if you have ever experienced overwhelm from time to time, hit the like button or the heart button wherever you are. Um, the article that I was talking about before is from the Harvard Business Review in 2019, and the author was Rebecca Zucker. The title of the article was How to Deal with Constantly Feeling Overwhelmed. This is me. I'm very high functioning. I love what I do, but I often work myself up into a tizzy and then I can feel overwhelmed. And then it's hard to be productive when you feel overwhelmed. It's hard to take care of yourself when you feel overwhelmed. And so, what I wanted to do was first start out with a quote from the article. And it says, the cognitive impact of feeling perpetually overwhelmed can range from mental note slowness, forgetfulness, confusion, difficulty concentrating or thinking logically, all the way to erasing mindfulness or impaired ability to problem solve. So we're not just talking about a little bit of overwhelm. We're talking about things that can radically impact our quality of life and the way that we take care of ourselves. So I want to ask who here can relate to that. Is anyone ever been in a state where you've been so overwhelmed that you have difficulty concentrating or thinking logically, or you can't problem solve? So, when we're thinking about taking care of ourselves, we really have to think about what are the ways that we can work with ourselves and not against ourselves. So, I want to know, drop in the comments. First of all, tell me you're here. Tell me that you are with me on this journey. And drop in the comments if you can relate, if you've ever felt overwhelmed, if you have any questions. So, the first point that I wanted to set was it's really important to pinpoint the primary source of overwhelm. So, like thinking, what's in my control? Just now, what was not in my control was that my notes that I had for this talk were not showing up the way that I needed them to show up. And I actually put a lot of effort into working on this for you guys. And so I wanted to make sure that I got across all the points that I had prepared for you. So that was not in my control, but you know what was in my control? I could stop the stream, delete it where I can, which I will finish deleting later, and start it again when I had all of my. So that was in my control. What was not in my control was the crap that was happening. What can I change? Same thing. What is in your control? What can you change? And if you can't change it, what do you need to accommodate for because you can't change it? For example, if you are going under a tremendous amount of stress, can you change your sleep patterns? Can you change how much sleep you're giving yourself? Can you delegate projects? Can you do projects at different times of day? Can you switch up your work life? Can you think about getting help in areas where you're doing too much? So if you can't control it, you can't change it. And this is the pinpointing the primary source of overwhelm. You have to think about what you need to accommodate because you can't change it, and do what you can do to accommodate for it. So the next point is set boundaries on your time and workload. And that means just say no. So I want to know, when was the last time you said no just for the purpose of self-care? And I'm looking to see in here, see if there's anybody who commenting. Nobody so far. Okay, no problem. So I want to know, if you are on later on the replay, please write replay and then let me know, when was the last time you said no for the sole purpose of self-care. And I want to hear your thoughts. Tell me what you think about this. Is it possible to say no for the sole purpose of self-care? How does it make you feel? Some of the things around this topic is resisting the shiny objects. Like, setting boundaries on your time and workload can be hard when you have a lot of interests. I love to craft, or I'll get a hobby, or even, for example, like these shiny nails are Color Street. For a while, I was like really, really obsessed with Color Street and doing my nails all the time. You have to resist the shiny objects when your time and workload is under demand. You have to prioritize basic self-care. And whatever that looks like for you, you need to also understand, and really think about, what is basic self-care look like for you. So I'll see if I can tag her or link her profile from TikTok, but there is a TikTok creator whose screen name is Domestic Blisters. And instead of domestic bliss, it's domestic blisters. She has a book, which I'll also link in the comments. And the book is all about what your basic self-care tasks are. So what does that look like for you? And when is it okay to just be functional? And when is it, like, if the goal is not perfection, the goal is function. And that could be self-care in your home tasks, self-care with your hygiene, self-care with the way that you feel emotionally. And sometimes you have to bring it down to a functional level. Like, what do I need to feel good? And then what do you need to do to rally your care team? And what is a care team? So, you may be asking, what is a care team? So, if you feel comfortable, tell me, maybe tag your best friend or tag somebody who's on your care team in the comments. So, your care team can be your partner, your best friend, your work spouse, your doctor, your therapist, your psychiatrist. It could even be your pet. My pet is, I wish I could turn the camera, because my pet is Phoebe, the most amazing Boston Terrier on the planet. She's currently conked out on my work couch, where she likes to lay like a queen that she is, on the regular. And if the door to my office is open, she is on that couch because I have a fuzzy blanket. So she's definitely part of my care team. If I'm having a bad day, I need a Phoebe Snuggles. That's just like necessary. So these are people or things, whoever you can go to authentically when you need love and support, and whoever really helps you recharge. So Gabby, who's my sidekick on the show usually, she put it this way for me the other night when we were in the hot tub. She said, which, by the way, totally self-care. But sometimes it feels too hard. Like, I feel so tired, I don't even want to get into the hot tub, which I'm so blessed that I even have a hot tub. I should be in that thing 24/7. But Gabby said, she said, Mom, what if we gamify this? And she said, you know how in Minecraft you come across things that drain your health, and then you have to find things that will refill your health score? It's like that. You guys, she's 11. She's 11. And the concept of boundaries are that simple. So you need to say no or try to sidestep things that drain your energy score, and say yes and incorporate more of the things that increase your energy score. And that's going to look different for every single person. But if that helps you to do this section of setting boundaries on your work and workload and time, like, I know people who legit have sticker charts. You know what? If you need a mofo sticker chart, make yourself a sticker chart. I have a planner, which I love, that I color in and, whatever, like that does it for me. But whatever you need to do to gamify it so that you can refill your energy score, do it. The next point I wanted to make was really challenging your perfectionism. So this is something that is really a struggle for me. So I am not a perfectionist when it comes to like the way my house is taken care of. I can be sort of a messy person. But part of it is because if it's not exactly right, I can't do it at all. And I'll see this too, like with my handwriting. Like one of the things I love about my iPad is that if I write something with the iPencil and it's not quite right, I can just erase it and rewrite it again because I actually prefer to write in pen. And so when you write in pen and you you mess up, it's pretty hard to be perfect. So, an iPad is a way of kind of getting around that. I would like to have you really challenge your perfectionism in whatever way that shows up for you. And the phrase that my sister and I have come up with, which is not unique to us, but we've taken it on as a motto, is done is better than perfect. So, if you complete something, even if it's only 75% of what you would want it to be, it's done and turn it in and it's done. One example of perfectionism for me that was a big lesson was I took a long time in college and I studied my bachelor's degree as an adult when I was married, when I had kids, and I had such a high standard for myself. I wanted to keep a 4.0. And so for many, 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 many years, I had a 4.0. And there came a class that kicked my butt and I got an A. Jesus Christ, you would have thought the whole world would have imploded with my A minus. And I was crying and crying and crying. And my husband said to me, he's like, it's okay. You can just get an A next time. And I was like, you don't understand. Like, you can never get a 4.0 back. You can get a 3.99999, but you can never have a 4.0 again. This ended up being one of the biggest gifts, because it released me, not right away, but it released me from the constant tension of feeling like I had to have a perfect score. And so later, when I was getting closer to the end of my degree, I was going to school full time. I was managing a multi provider medical practice. I had two elementary school students, and I was 8 months pregnant, and I was messing up left and right. And I had to tell myself, like, freaking C's get degrees. Like, that's all I had. Like, done was definitely better than perfect at that point, because I was taking 18 credits and doing all these things. And there's just no way. If I had kept myself to that 4.0 standard, I would have died. I mean, there's no way. So perfectionism makes things bigger and it makes it more complicated. So it makes you more overwhelmed, and it also leads to procrastination. So it's like a vicious cycle. So we need to learn the power of enough. And I used to say I didn't even know what the word enough meant, because I was searching for this illusion of perfection and accomplishment and approval, but I had no idea who I was trying to get this from or for what reason. And so we need to break things down into what we can feasibly do each day and then close the day by saying that was enough. And it might not be all that I wanted to accomplish, but it was all that I was capable of doing. And then tomorrow is a new day, and that will have to be enough too. So, the next and fourth point that I wanted to say on overwhelm is that you need to get help. And we're going to talk about delegation specifically on another day. So, we'll dive into delegation, because it's one of my favorite topics. Let me see here really quick. Making sure that I'm not missing anything from you guys. But right now, we're just going to talk about getting help in general. So I want you to be vulnerable enough to say that you can't do it all and watch what happens when people love on you. And this happened to me probably about 3 weeks ago. I needed to drop something off at FedEx, and I was buried in meetings, and I was having a really hard time pulling myself away from the computer because I needed to be, I had back to back meetings and whatnot. And I had like a small window of time, but it was like eat or go to FedEx. And I was starving, my blood sugar was tanked, and I needed to ask for help. And I don't know why, but it was it's just always really hard for me to ask for help. So I went to my husband and I said, would you be willing to take this FedEx thing to FedEx? And he was like, yeah, totally. I was like, really? Like, yeah, I would love to. I would love to take care of that for you. And I was so embarrassed and tentative to ask, but he was like stoked about the opportunity to help me. And it made me realize that some people live for that. Some people, that's their love language, is to be able to help you. And when you don't ask for help, you're robbing them of the opportunity to live out their love language. And then I want to give you the example of if you find that people are hesitant to help. So this might be, in a personal situation or in a work situation. So you might be asking in a way that feels like too much for their load. So, what I mean by that is you might be asking in a way that is not very specific. So if you say, okay, for example, I did a talk on delegation earlier in the week, and it was to a group of leaders, and they were having a hard time rallying their groups to help with some of the leadership projects. So one of them said she had sent out a survey and said, who's interested in this area? Who would be interested in volunteering for this area? And I said to her, I was like, nope. Because what you're doing feels like you're asking them to sign up for the PTA. And I don't PTA. No, I don't PTA. It feels like you're asking me to take on a lot of responsibility. And I have enough on my own plate. And everybody has enough on their own plate. However, if you're very specific and you explain your situation, then you are actually empowering them. So the good example would be to say, hey, I have X, Y, and Z going on my plate, and I need to take care of this other thing, but I'm running out of time. But if we get this other thing done, it's going to have the benefit for all of us, for this reason. And I'm afraid it's not going to get done. Would you be willing to help me with this one thing so that we could enjoy this total benefit as a team or whatever, so that I can focus on these other things? Would that be something that you'd be able to do for that one specific thing? And I think you'll find that more times than not, people, if you're asking them for something very specific, are going to say yes. Whereas if you do a blanket statement to try to call out volunteers, people are going to feel like, if I say yes, you're going to ask me to do too much, and then I'm going to feel overwhelmed. And so be very specific in your ask. And then also um talk about how it will affect you, and so that they can see how it helps you as well. Let me see here. So overall, and I definitely press the little like button if you agree, or throw a comment in there if you agree. And this includes you replayers. Open communication is the key. I think if you tell people what's going on in your life, and you don't have to get all specific about like everything. You don't have to say, and my dog has dysentery. But if you say like, look, I have a lot going on, and I've got all these things and all these projects that need to be done, and I'm just really afraid that this one thing is going to get, drop through the cracks. Or you could say something along the lines of, I noticed that you're really good at this one thing, and I need help with that one thing. Would you be available to help me? And then give like a specific like time frame, like say once or once a month or whatever your ask is, and then say with when you're doing that thing, and I'm thinking like a social media post or something like that, would you be willing to create me a social media post once a month or once every 2 weeks or whatever when you're doing that thing? And would that be something that you'd be able to do? And then say too, if you kind of get a hesitation, to say, or even less than that, but just, you're so good at it, um and I really need help with that. So would that be something that you'd be willing to do? So open communication, you guys, is the total key to reducing overwhelm. So next is combating limiting beliefs. And this is also a big one for me. So specifically for me is the fear of failure and rejection. So there is something that I'm learning about, which is rejection, sensitivity, dysmorphia, I think is what it's called. But these are limiting beliefs. These are things that are getting in the way and causing you to get worked up. So um, you may be worried that if you ask for help, or if you delegate, that it will make you feel out of control, that it won't be done right, that others will mess it up, and then you'll be held responsible. Again, this goes back to open communication, and talk to me if that's something that and if you don't feel comfortable commenting on this post, but that's something that you've been struggling with, send me a DM, because I have some ideas on how you can ask for help or delegate in a way that will eliminate people doing it the wrong way, and having people do it a way that is more authentic to how you do it. Another challenge that could stand in the way are executive dysfunction, and it feels insurmountable. So, what so executive function is organizing, planning ahead, self-monitorization, emotional regulation. I have ADHD, and there are a lot of other adults who have some form of neurodivergence or things like that, or maybe just they're a little scatterbrained or whatever. And that can cause a lot of limiting beliefs and fear of failure, and conflicting feelings that add to overwhelm, because if you're trying really hard but you're having this executive function dysregulation or executive dysfunction, and you're not able to effectively plan ahead or organize, you feel bad inside. You feel like you're inconveniencing people, or you feel like you can't get it under control, and that can help, lead to the spinning the drain type feeling. So knowing and recognizing, that's why I tell people, like, I have no like fear of telling people that that's something that I work around, because it also adds to the, like, there's some amazing things about me that, because I think in a different way. So really evaluating where your limiting beliefs are, and breaking it down, and how it's adding to your overwhelm. So I want to go back just to like quickly recap. So we talked about pinpointing the primary source of overwhelm, setting the boundaries on your time and workload, changing and challenging your perfectionism and procrastination, asking for help effectively, combating limiting beliefs. And then the bottom line, guys, is if you need to fall apart because you're overwhelmed, fucking fall apart. Okay? Trying to power through it is not going to work. If you give in, you are more likely to process through the emotions and be able to move past it. And when you're ready to get back to work, you need to go easy on yourself. Try to work in the way that works best for you. Think of some examples of works best when you're in the zone. So, like, maybe clear your workspace or play some music that gets you pumped or take breaks when you can. But, really just go easy on yourself and optimize things. And then commit to non negotiables, but make them micro tasks. So, this leads me to the next tip, which is picking one area or corner to work on and get started. So, accomplishing one small task can actually get you propelled towards future action. So, like, I have to-do lists and I love crossing things off my to-do list. If I could write out a to-do list and then cross it off, that would make me feel so great. So, my what I mean by micro tasks is take the overall task and break it up into steps and write down the steps on your list and then cross them off as you get there because you're making progress towards getting over this overwhelm. So, I hope that this has been really successful in giving you some information. And I want to let you guys know that if you feel stuck in your goals and you're needing help mapping out actionable steps, we actually have a new service that's going to be rolling out. It's not up on the website yet, but it's coming out and it's called Clear Path Consulting. So, the premise of the consulting is that we get together, we talk about what's making you stuck. Maybe you have a complete lack of clarity of where you're headed. Maybe you know where you want to go, but you don't know how to get there. And we use a proprietary assessment. It's based on the extended disc assessment, and we actually map out what are your strengths, what are your energy drains, and we work together to put a plan in place of actual steps that will get you closer to clarity. And then you are not alone in this process. We have accountability and you have my support. And we, through the consulting process, actually do accomplish some of these steps. And then we map out where you're headed from there. So if that's something that you're interested in and would like to talk to me more about, um, come and send me a message in the DM or comment clarity below, or you can go to our website Linq, which is linqcs.com, if you want details. Just let me know what your thoughts are about that, but that's something that's available as a resource. And let me know what you think about Overwhelm. This was my first live stream, you guys. I was so freaking nervous. I literally wrote on my planner today, when I write my planner out, it has like, what are fumble triggers? And fumble triggers are things that could get me off track. And I wrote energy level, distraction, and ironic overwhelm. And I think all of those came true for me today, especially that because this live stream didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to in the very beginning and I had to start over. But if you would do me the favor of coming back around, watch the live stream, let me know that you were here by putting replay in the comments. Engage with the content. Tell me what you get overwhelmed with or how you handle overwhelm. Ask me questions. I promise I will get back to every question that you ask, and I will just appreciate with the bottom of my heart that you maybe catered to me in this first talk of many. I hope to be delivering content that is relevant and helps you and is on target with the ways that we at Linq Consulting Solutions help people. So don't forget to, reach out to me and comment if you have questions. Other ways that you can engage with us is the podcast, which is the Client Experience Revolution podcast. That is on every podcasting platform that you could ever freaking want. We have amazing guests that cover everything that you as an entrepreneur would be interested in, from ways to streamline your business, things that are important to you as a person, just a variety of topics, things that are happening in your community. We stream that the audio on all those platforms. We also have a YouTube channel. If you search Riah Gonzalez, you'll find the YouTube channel. These talks and Facebook Lives and also full versions of the video portion of our podcast are on our YouTube channel, which we are streaming live to our YouTube channel as well. And I'm a big proponent of LinkedIn. So find me on LinkedIn. If you guys just want to like be friends, I'm totally open to that too. And we would love it if you would connect with me, let me know that you saw this talk. And if you just want to network, I'm open to that too. I always want to know about other people in business, how I can support you, how I can refer to you. If I don't know what's going on with you in your business, if I don't know who an ideal client for you is, I don't know how to refer people to you. And I talk to lots and lots and lots of people. So, um, lastly, I co-moderated a clubhouse room this morning. I'm probably going to do that a little bit more with the polka dot powerhouse ladies. And I just thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart for all of the support, for all of the different ventures and places and things that I'm working on. It means a lot from this ironically overwhelmed entrepreneur to you. I thank you so much. And I hope you guys have a good day. I should really hit the hot tub tonight. I think that's the way that I'm going to conquer my overwhelm. I still have work to do today, but after that, I think hitting the hot tub sounds like a really good idea. So don't forget to gamify things, fill your energy score, and when you're feeling drained in your energy score, find the things that will pump that puppy up. So thanks, guys. Have an awesome day, and thanks for making me feel welcome. Appreciate you.